All right. Welcome, always. I'm your host, Brother Raven. Let me get the show up and going. Let's see if I can find a fantastic. We are at the 236th show. That's 236 attempts at working with the community to find solutions. So it's good. My machine's just loading. Give it its time. Here we go. Present and share. There we go. All right. Share. Let's see what we're dealing with. All right, there it is. So, welcome to the Black Bear broadcast for those who are live and those who will listen in future times. Don't forget to follow the Black Bearman building at your Instagram. Boom, boom, boom. There it is, right there. So I'll put it there. There it is. So we start as we always start. We talk about the white supremacy, anti-black racism, and the Ma'afa. These are the triple tragedies. And unfortunately, these triple tragedies that happen in black people's past contribute to the double dilemma. That is, we are despised and we are disorganized. That's right. So that means we present a single solution. And that single solution is Black Betterment, the lifestyle of black people continuously helping black people. That is what we promote on this open discussion. The lifestyle of black people helping black people. That's what we do here. All right. So we send out the link. I don't know if this might be a very kind of shocking show this week. Maybe quite heavy stuff. So if people jump in. We do want them to remember discipline, dedication, dignity, and discernment. Sometimes the topic might be a bit harsh. If you can remember those four things, the 4D values, it will make communicating with black people just that little bit more easier, you see. Also with language, if we could use descriptive language and not derogatory language, that could be very handy. So feel free to look at the screen to see what that is made up of. Monitoring the violent. Okay, so we're now at the topic. So this week is a single topic this week, and that is monitoring the violent intent of your children. We discussed the Nicholas Prosper murder case to help parents take active roles in their monitoring of the behaviors of their children. So for those who don't know, I saw it just on a clip, whatever. I had to catch up. But unfortunately, there was a young man, African descent. His father was maybe African Caribbean. I want to say Caribbean. I'm assuming, but I'm not too sure. And his mother was, I'm not sure where she was from. I'm not sure. She might not have been European, but I don't know. But either or, this individual, Nicholas Prosper, he went on a killing spree on his own family, and we saw there was a white guy, I forgot his name. I think he killed his girlfriend's family with a crossbow. So we're seeing this kind of like a lot of where we're based at the moment in England, where people are just doing this kind of like murder spree stuff, and it's definitely good. But from the Black Bearman perspective, we saw a young individual from Rwanda who went and unfortunately murdered children in a sing-along kind of daycare kind of thing, and this individual, this Nicholas Prosper individual, he had plans to do a similar thing, you see. So we're going to cover it. Now, I do warn you, I'm not going to start straight away. We'll let you give through one, but we're going to play the court case and the testimonies and stuff. So it's quite shocking stuff. So, and also the reason we're doing this is because the lifestyle he was in, and also this other young person who's now in jail, the kid from Rwanda. His parents were from Rwanda, so but he was born in Wales or something. With there's behavioral patterns that some of these individuals show, and I do wonder, like, is it noticed by the family that they're doing things that could be seen as very extreme? But we'll unpack them. But what we're going to do while people get used to coming in live and people find their footing and stuff, we'll just open the show with random videos on the internet, and we'll give a Black Bear perspective, and then after 10 or so minutes we'll go into the actual topic at hand. Now, the topic at hand, we've got two videos to play. One's quite long, one is 5 minutes or something. But The long ones are quite long to it, like half an hour, so, but we'll be stopping it and giving our feedback as we listen to. But let's let's see what topics we have before we start a topic. What's a good one to start? Reason, South Africa, teenage. Oh, no, that's the show. Oh, this is a nice one to start with. I saw something like this.
Life expectancy in the United States is now at its lowest level in nearly 2 decades. And the projected lifetimes of Black and Native Americans are shorter than for white Americans. New research offers an insight on a potential factor driving this disparity. It finds that Black people live longer in areas with more Black primary care doctors.
That's why even, ladies and gentlemen, even in modern medicine, we're recognizing that the African body does not react in the same way to medicines and other things as does the European body. Now doctors are beginning to realize what they realized even in the 60s and 70s, but because it was politically unwise, they did not talk about it. And that was the idea that you must take the ethnicity of the individual in mind if you're to give them the best medical treatment.
They're showing there that places with Black doctors have a better outcome for Black people. Also, focusing, making and they do that in in certain places where the ethnic group or and how medicine might react to them and that kind of stuff. But interesting stuff. I saw that on the feed. If that's interesting. Very important stuff there. Class. That's like it was colored. Let's go into. We're gonna tackle. I saw this. This is a I assume a mental health case. I've visited a few kind of like places that deal with brothers and sisters who go through mental challenges, and I noticed when I went to a place, a lot of them were Black in there. I thought it was like a special ward for maybe people of African descent or something. But no, if it was just that was the people who were at the ward. That was in that area, which was not a majority Black. There was a lot of Black people in the mental ward. But this is showing a brother who might be unwell. Well, the reason for because mental health is a very important part of thing. And I'm saying the topic we're covering today is about, unfortunately, like a mass killing. Well, a killing, I should say, a family killing spree. Now, we're not going to use mental health as an excuse for reason, but I guess at some point that does play in. But this is just more so a video.
Hurry up!
It's a young woman police officer being followed by a Black guy. Excuse the language.
I'm telling you, fucking dead still. You got me on a go to the shit goes on. I'll show you my eyes. I'll show you my eyes. I'll show you my eyes. Dr. Zim, see what I said? You know, c'est survived. Oh shit, we got my assassinate. Oh shit, man. Kinda. Oh shit. Assassinate. Assassinate. Oh shit, tonight. Kinda. Oh shit, what's going on now? What's going on? You know who I am? Do you know who I am? Oh, my ID. So I'm a police head now.
So yeah, I mean, I'm assuming there's a mental challenge there, but it could be wrong. Maybe just didn't understand what we're saying. But definitely, and this ties into the topic of like monitoring your children and stuff, but also, making sure people come from some kind of stable household where people can be looked after. I know sometimes it's hard, it is, but that's time we saw that. But either way, we'll do more topics covering Black mental health, and hopefully we'll get more professional. Big up She Reigns, very important contributor to the show. Big up sister there. Let's look at some other videos before we start the topic. What's this one? Nope. Nope. Hair care. Well, I was going to say we should. We'll do that another time. Maybe. One thing I was going to say. This is the. This lady. She was talking about why. Have I got it here? Yeah. I won't play all of it, but this is interesting. I heard from this woman. I never heard this before. But let's hear it.
There's a Black female creator on here who I love, talking about how she's tired of seeing the propaganda promoting interracial relationships in the media and in commercials and stuff. So I thought I'd hop on here and give you guys my 2 cents as someone who got by the propaganda and who's currently disentangling myself from a 15-year relationship with a white guy. All of the stuff in the media, the commercials and everything that you're seeing promoting interracial families is actually not trying to get young Black men and Black women into interracial relationships.
So this is her hypothesis is that these things are not to promote that Black men don't marry Black women, but actually she's got a different hypothesis.
It's trying to keep us oldies from divorcing our spouses. The reason I know this is because it worked on me for the last 5-6 years. That's what it's doing. It's there to basically make sure that when we're having moments of doubt, issues in the marriage, when we're not seeing ourselves reflected in our communities, because even though interracial marriage has been on the rise, a lot of times it's very isolating for the person of color. They want to make sure it's being reinforced in certain places so we can feel like anything that is not comfortable or not feeling normal or good is an us problem and not a systemic, bigger issue in the marriage or in the coupling in the first place. Make sense? And if you're not in this world of interracial marriage where you've been together for a while, you've got kids, you don't even know the levels of psyop that they got going. Have you ever heard of this show? It's on Apple Plus. It's a cute show.
So the sister breaks down a cartoon show. I won't try it. It's interesting she breaks down. But my other interest was our hypothesis about the reason, a reason for seeing many white and Black partners isn't to promote, but more so to obviously make those partners feel more at home and so they stay together longer, whatever. She's obviously, she said that worked on her, that she wants to leave him, but whatever it was. But I thought it was interesting. And that also brings me something, the hypothesis or a theory that I'm pushing in. More so is so you remember the black doll test?
Is the black doll, and which one is the white doll?
That one.
Which doll is the pretty doll? Which doll is the nice doll? Which doll is the bad doll? Which doll is the nice doll?
As you can't see, the children are picking the European looking doll to be good and the African looking doll to be bad.
And which doll is the bad doll? And why is that doll pretty?
Because he's white and he has 2 eyes.
Which doll is the ugly doll? Why is that doll ugly?
Because he's black.
Which doll looks most like you?
Like me.
Yeah, which one looks like you?
And that one.
Okay.
That doll.
This is a doll test that happened years ago. A husband and wife did these tests and presented them. And they've done these kind of tests all over Spanish, Portuguese, English-speaking countries, different times. And historically, they've always got the same kind of result. The reason I bring it up is because the last video was about interracial dating. And obviously, we promote Black love here, you know, as a good template for starting a Black family. But something that we never explore is, even though when people are picking partners, we never talk about the mindset, the psychological mindset that Black people are in, and how we view ourselves in our community, and how does that impact on us in making a family or trying to find a family, or what we deem as beautiful or the greatest prize, right? And I think that's something that we should really bring forward when we are ahead, because when we're here promoting Black love, we might get pushback, say, oh, you know, love has, I've got some messages top right corner now I have to answer with. So love has no color, that good kind of stuff, which is nice. But once again, we're diving a bit deeper, thinking that, you know, what is the pound for pound mindset of the Black person, as how that Black person views themselves from. So if we understand that from children, that this is what might be fed, then who's to say that by the time they're adult, that hasn't been compounded and templated in their mind? It's an interesting thing there, but we'll unpack as time goes by. But just a quick video to, you know, see as we're collecting our thoughts. Speaking of Also, coloured. This is in South Africa's interesting thing as well. This one here.
There are black communities.
Yes.
There are colored communities, which are people that look like you and I, and there are white communities. Chinese were considered black.
And Japanese people were considered white.
Chinese were considered black.
And Japanese people were considered white. But in South Africa, because you had a situation where 6% of the population was in power, and they were trying to control the remaining 94%. How do you go about doing that? That's a Herculean task. In America, you had the one drop rule. So if you were a person who had a drop of black blood in you, you were black. In South Africa, they couldn't allow the same metric because that meant you would now be a black person who is added to the majority, and the majority increasing was not something they wanted. So instead, what they set out to do was, they said if you were a person who was black, and then you were also half white, they would then recategorize you as a new race, and that race they called colored.
Interesting. This is a history lesson there. Well, it's seen as just the strategy of being fearful, being outnumbered, and how to change that through categories. That was an interesting thing there. We're going to start a show very soon. Now, I warn you, the topic is quite shocking. We're covering Nicholas Prosper, the murder case, and we're asking the question, are you monitoring your children to see if they display any kind of odd, quite extreme behaviors? So I think we'll probably start then. Tell a friend, let's see if there's any more videos before I start. No, that's cool. Case study USA. I can use that as the topic. No, yeah, I won't play that. Cool. So let me go back and then introduce it, and then so yeah, where is it? Add to. Let's remove this first. Actually, before you must remove old media. That's very weird. Stop screen and then add that. That's weird. Oh, that's because it's a video. So guys, I'm trying to find my where's my PDF? Okay, that 1,000 apologies. I couldn't find my PDF. Here we go. A bit weird. Whatever. Am I? Oh, you have to remove that as well. Remove. I'm sorry, guys. I think the machine's playing up. Screen share. Share screen. Windows. The dock thing, please, and then share. Okay, well, it's not playing. Whatever. Well, we don't need it. I'll just tell you anyway. So anyway, we're going to start the show. We're going to play videos anyway. So let me remove some of this stuff so it doesn't take up space. But yeah, just so you know, first we'll watch a report from the news, and then we're going to go to the hearing where they describe the person who was caught, Nicholas, and his behaviors and his past and that. And some of it can be quite alarming. Your browser can't access screen. Try and take a different screen to see these. The browser can't access your screen. Try capturing a different screen to see if this continues. It's a bit weird, isn't it? All right, cool. Whatever. So let's look at the news report first. Okay, this. And so just to give you up to speed, for those who don't know, good evening, big up brother Dominic, very important contributor. Let's see if we can remember. This might be shocking stuff, guys. So feel free to just turn off or turn down if it's too much to describe this case. Where is it? Must be this one. This here. Hopefully this works. Oh my! There we go.
When questioned, something today's Friday court.
It's not a murder, 18-year-old Nicholas Prosper kept telling police as they arrested him, but it was. He'd just shot his mother, Juliana Fulken, as well as his younger brother and sister, Kyle and Giselle Prosper, all dying at the scene.
It's not a murder. Yes, we've got a male here. He's presented himself to us.
Officers didn't yet know then that Nicholas Prosper had also been planning a mass shooting of the very youngest children at his old primary school, in an attempt, the judge said, to become globally notorious. Prosper's planning was meticulous. He doctored a gun license in order to buy a shotgun and cartridges. The fake license so convincing that it duped this seller into handing over the weapon in a car park. Prosper would unleash his attack the next morning.
Hi, yeah. Sorry, I'm a bit rattled. Upstairs, just gone up to knock on the door, sorry. And I had a massive bang, sounded like a gunshot.
Earlier than planned, because his mother had woken up and disturbed him. After fleeing on foot and hiding for more than 2 hours, he heard the growing police sirens and, assuming the school was on lockdown, decided to abandon his plans. He flagged down a police car as he walked down a road close to where he'd hidden the weapon. A close walk to the primary school where he intended to commit mass murder, meaning it may have been the closest that Britain had come to a school shooting since the 1996 Dunblane killings.
There was no racial, religious, political ideology, anything like that. Our assessment is it was purely on notoriety. He wanted to be known as the most horrific, significant school shooter.
The court was shown videos he'd made of himself practicing shooting in his kitchen. Just 18 at the time of his crimes, he'd been referred in agreement with his mum for mental health support during sixth form, but refused to engage, later dropping out and spending his time online or going to the gym.
A forensic psychiatrist who observed Mr. Prosper said that he displayed psychopathic traits like an extreme lack of empathy and remorse. Police said that he was a very disturbed individual who spent almost all of his time looking at horrific, violent content online. And although he had access to the dark web, they said most of this content was easily available on the surface web.
He was also found to be in possession of 200 indecent images of children, nearly 20 of them classed as the most serious images known as Category A.
For the sake of the interview, will you introduce yourself, your name?
Nicholas Prosper.
In response to every subsequent police question, Nicholas Prosper replied no comment.
Why have you killed them all?
No comment.
Did you hate them?
No comment.
Nicholas, obviously you're aware that Juliana, your mum, Kyle and Giselle are dead. Are you upset by that?
No comment.
He had to be forced into the dock today, where he refused to stand and held his head in his hands as he was sentenced to 49 years, the judge saying you are highly dangerous and it may be that you will never be released.
You intended to unleash disaster on the community of Luton. The lives of your own mother and younger brother and sister were to be collateral damage on the way to fulfil your ambition. Juliana Falcon, Carl Prosper and Giselle Prosper's deaths are almost certain to have saved the lives of many children. The community owes them its gratitude and their memory should be honoured. Please take Mr. Prosper down.
Ray Prosper, the father of Kyle and Giselle and former husband of Juliana, sobbed in court today as he watched his son sentenced. Police read a statement on his behalf.
We are devastated by the loss of our loved ones and are horrified to hear what Nicholas had planned. For now, we would ask people to remember Juliana, Kyle and Giselle for the people they were.
Juliana was described as a strong, loving mother who was always putting others first. Kyle as a kind and funny young man, and Giselle as a beautiful soul and exceptional pupil. Tonight, Luton remembers all three.
Very tragic, very shocking. And this is like in the UK, this is not something that really happens. Well, his plan was stopped, so unfortunately he killed his family, which is terrible, absolutely terrible. But they're saying because of the action, he never had time to go on to shoot up a nursery, I think, or an infant school or something, a very young school. And that's what hasn't really happened. And we don't want to repeat those kind of things where children are not safe. Unfortunately, with the last show we covered a few weeks back, there was that young person from Wales who went on to attack a dance school kind of place, and unfortunately, I think many were injured, but three lost their life. 3 young children lost their life. We definitely want to deal with that. You know, it's a terrible tragedy. But the question we're asking is like, we're gonna open up another video soon, seeing like when they read his lifestyle, and they did the same thing to the other guy we talked about from Rwanda, where they read his lifestyle, and it was like very extreme to the point where these guys were consuming very extreme content consistently, and they were quite disengaged and restless around other people and stuff, and their rooms were almost like shrines to anti-social behavior or violent behavior. And maybe some of the parents like turn blind eye and stuff, and I'm thinking, that's that's where you kind of want to be finding out why is why is your son behaving so way. Now I did immediately, because obviously I could tell by his face, and his mother I don't know where his mother's from, if she I don't know her background, her country of origin or ethnic group. Like I can't really tell. They didn't say anything like it, but I could tell by his children that obviously he's probably African or Caribbean. The parent, the father. So I tried to find it, and he seemed to not find it. But without delay, I think let's share screen. This might not even work, because it's a shame for that. Let me check. What is that? I still hold on. Let's see if this works. I think it's that one. So let's see if that works. Why do we keep jumping around? Jump around. Yeah. Is it gonna share? No? Man. For some reason, I can't. The browser can't access your screen. Try capturing a different screen to see if this continues. Well, yeah. Oh, that's a shame. So I'll put a link here if you want to click on it, right? Especially I can do that. Sorry. The videos work, but the browser's dumb. Let me see if I can actually get another one. If I just post it there. My machine is actually acting quite slow, isn't it? And usually, if it's the machine, it's probably the internet. Or whatever. Windows. Sorry, it is very slow. And I've shut all my software down, so I don't know. Or whatever, cancel that. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I can't do that. But yeah, I think I'll post that there. I'll post a link. But the Daily Mirror, and they seem that they're caught their left for. I still love you, son. It's not your fault, okay? How Nicholas Prosper's father stood by his son after lad murdered his family, and sobbed as triple killer was jailed for 49 years. So they were trying to put stuff on his dad or whatever. It was very weird, because no other website was covering this crime that way. Very odd, but they managed to pull up a picture of his dad, which I came across. Where is it? But yeah, I can't show you that. I think that, they might have actually got rid of it. I bet you know what? When I came in here before, it was here, but now it's gone. I bet they probably got a seek and desist or something like that. Yeah, they had a picture of the dad, but now he's. Oh, let me see. Maybe it's here. Nah, I'm not seeing it now. I'm trying to scroll through here. Nah, that he probably asked to not be mentioned or whatever. Yeah, it must be a seek and desist. Fair enough, whatever. All right, well, so we've looked at that then. So what we're going to do now? Now this is going to be a bit of a long one. It's like a half-an-hour video of the court case itself and the reading the verdict and stuff like that. And we're going to comment about the unpacking, and we're going to ask ourselves the questions. Are we doing our duty as parents, looking after our children to make sure we can track if they ever go down this kind of dark path? I know some people from St. Lucia with the Prosper name. He might be St. Lucian. That's the thing. I had a picture of him. He could really be St. Lucian. And our hats go out to him. And our hearts go out to him because, he lost his entire family. He wasn't with the mother, but he lived very close by. They broke up not too long ago, a couple of years back, I think. But he lost all his children and one obviously went. I'm wondering. Well, rather than me talk, let me play the big video. Hopefully, this. So, this is the court case. Some of you might see it, some not, but we'll try to do some narrative side by side. Teenage killer's family. Where is it? Hold on. This is old. Oh, here you go. This one. Found it.
Court, I ordered that you had to be brought. You do not want to be here, but it is not your choice. You have to face the consequences of your actions, to hear the court's sentence passed in public, and it is important for those who loved your victims to see.
Question: Do you think the breakup could have triggered mental health issues? He seemed very disconnected. The issue. One thing we do be very careful when we cite mental health issues, because we never want to give someone, a free rein to do what they want and say it's mental health. But what I would say is different here is he killed his parent and siblings. So something tells me he's disconnected from all that already. As in, I mean, I don't know if his father left, that will make him disconnect, but I suspect he's been that way for quite some time. Oh, play please. Hold on.
You sentenced. The facts underlying these.
They say no dad in the house could be a contribution. Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's definitely some form of contribution in the sense of monitoring. When some, I don't know the chemical imbalance or the personality learning and nurture nature. Where I don't know what would drive someone, but this guy was exceptionally antisocial.
These convictions are chilling. For about a year after leaving sixth form college in Luton, where you were failing to work towards A-levels, you planned a school shooting on a scale that you hoped would make you globally notorious.
So, and it's a shame because they'll mention it, but he was trying to mimic an American murderer, young person who was following, or at least their work. But I can't show those things because I can't seem to share, so it's a shame, really.
You explicitly sought to emulate and outdo Adam Lanza, the 20-year-old American who shot dead 20 children and 6 adults at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newton, Connecticut in 2012, shooting himself to avoid capture. You aimed for 34 deaths, one more than the deadliest school shooting of recent times in the United States of America at Virginia Tech in 2007. As the investigation revealed, this case incorporates many recurrent themes in school shootings, such as a young male perpetrator, selection of distinctive clothing or uniform, recording a message about the activities, a sexual interest in.
Can you guys hear me? Oh yeah, that's what. It's just sorry, it's just the animation's slow. All right.
Withdrawing into an online.
Mental health has to be the base of it. I mean, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Mental health could be definitely, there is some mental health going on without question. But I think that it's the cognitiveness of the person, like, how they can operate and the things they're into as well.
Online world. Reference to violent computer games, suicidal intention, and a lack of empathy towards the victims. To achieve this goal, you researched firearms and produced a meticulously forged firearms certificate. You set about buying a shotgun pretending you needed it for clay pigeon shooting, about which you were able to speak confidently. The forgery was of sufficient quality that after one failed attempt, when the seller grew suspicious because you offered so much more money than he had advertised the gun for, you succeeded in acquiring a 12-ball Nico double-barreled shotgun and 100 cartridges on the 12th of September from someone who held them.
So that's another thing. He's gone to buy a shotgun, and he's buying them from some. So in the UK, it's quite hard to get guns, and there are licenses, but I think it's something like people who own land can get shotguns or something like that for some old reason. I don't really know back on the top of my mind, but it isn't very normal in the UK to go and just be buying guns. You know what I mean? And yeah, just why are they keeping him alive, wasted?
Legally. The man delivered them to the car park of the block of flats in the northern outskirts of Luton, where you lived with your mother and siblings. You paid £650 and £30 petrol money. That seller described you as polite and well-speaking.
So I don't know if he works, but 650. Does he work or does he live at home? But he got £650 to pay for the shotgun plus £30 for the actual gas for the person who's driving it to.
Perfectly normal person.
I mean, selling guns in the UK. I mean, that's something that you have to review. Like, he sold a gun in the UK, but yeah.
You did not come across.
But he said he thought it was for like the sport of shooting pigeons or discs or something like that.
As a novice with firearms. This presentation was inconsistent with the way you had been behaving with people since you returned to school after GCSE exams 2 years earlier in September 2022. Although of at least average intelligence, you had become noticeably disinterested in interacting with others.
So that's the thing. We got kids and that try and notice if they're really, are they isolated? Are they loners? Do they stick to themselves? You know, when they come home from school, do you ask them how was school and stuff like that?
You didn't want to be in the sixth form and were angry that your mother made you go. Juliana Falcon had separated from your father, Raymond Prosper, when you were about 8 years old. But
So he's 18 now, so was that 12 years or something like that? So he would have been 8. That's like 10 years.
He saw his children regularly and lived not very far away.
So he didn't live too far away.
Juliana worked full-time to support her family. She had noticed you were withdrawn at home, just as at school. Your parents agreed with a referral to the local child and adolescent mental health services team, but nothing came of it. Although autism was suspected and you seemed to be overwhelmed by social interaction and uncooperative in lessons, you resisted assessment or intervention. You were asked to leave school in March 2023.
So this is showing he's getting in trouble or not really getting on well, and to the point where the school asked him to leave. So that'd be interesting to see, you know, what all the family made of that. So I assume his family must be aware he was problematic. How they, I don't know if the mother would have asked the dad for help or something. I don't know. I looked into getting a license years ago. The hoops you have to jump through, as well as checks from the seller has to do. Yeah, and I think he forged his own kind of like file or something like that. I don't know, maybe just Photoshop or something. I don't know how he got it. We'll probably got all the information on the dark web.
From then until September 2024, you existed in an online world, choosing little real-life contact with others apart from attending a gym. Phoned St. Joseph's Catholic Primary School, which you have, and a computer game called The Walking Dead. Audio files discussing topics depicting the rape of children.
Well, how far did I go back?
indecent images and videos of children.
Yeah, so
19 of
hold
these
on, let me go back.
you are deeply fascinated by notorious murderers, perpetrators of mass school shootings around the world, and rapists.
So this is another thing. He was fixated on these kind of atrocity videos of and information on people who's done very huge crimes against people.
You collected images of a 6-year-old girl, C, one of the victims of the Sandy Hook school massacre. Photographs of 2 nearby primary schools and over 200 indecent images and videos of children.
So this is where we have, warning stuff. Obviously, he's obviously, I think they're alluding that maybe he's, is it pedophile? I guess, can you say that? A PDF file, sorry, or whatever you can. I don't know if you can still say things on the internet now. Probably can't. Not that we're responsible, but he might have been attracted to minors, which is that it's like really back-to-back shock here just a different level of problematic altogether. Really, it's just stacking up.
19 of these were of the most serious kind, category A, depicting the rape of children. You record.
No, Raven, call it for what it is. He's a well. I don't think I can use it. I don't know if I can use those terms on in general. I think they've banned it, but maybe I'm wrong. As in, like, words you can and can't use for whatever reason on YouTube.
Audio files discussing topics such as necrophilia.
So this is like, I'm forgive to the people. This is very extreme, but it's case study point. This necrophilia is, I think it's people who are intimate with dead things. I think that's what it is. So this is extremely extreme stuff.
6-year-old victim C, and a computer game called The Walking Dead.
I mean, The Walking Dead is a comic book based upon zombies, but I think there's a video game based on it. So I assume you shoot the zombies. I assume.
On the 13th of September 2023, exactly 1 year before the murders, you phoned St. Joseph's Catholic Primary School, which you had attended happily, to find out the daily timetable and movements of the children.
So he's doing research to find out where the children are going to be. So this is obviously very shocking things.
You carried out reconnaissance at the school and captured images of the staff and pupils from the school's website.
So he was researching and getting people's names and locations and stuff.
In one of the notes you have written since arrest, you drew a diagram of the early years classroom at St. Joseph's and wrote alongside, "Kill all." In April 2024, you put together...
So family, listen to the court case of, let me get my file, of Nicholas Prosper murder case to help parents take active role in monitoring the behaviours of their children. And what I'm saying is this is not Harvard, she's reading out certain behavioural plans, but we're saying if any of this was noticed beforehand, this is like big alarm bells of that your child is not operating and functioning correctly and might do damage to themselves or others. Yeah, and that's I do warn you that this stuff, and that's what I'm going to try to do more, let people know of the topic it might be triggering, and what we're trying to definitely make sure that these things don't become a trend, and there's a place for these kind of loose cannon, violent, isolated individuals.
A curated outfit made up of black and yellow clothing, a yellow bucket hat, and shoes with yellow soles. You videoed yourself at home, dressed in your distinctive outfit, acting out the shooting with a piece of wood in the place of a gun. In June, you tried to make contact with the mother of C using a pseudonym.
I think he was trying to reach out to a victim, maybe, I think. His mother. Oh, well, and that's the thing, but Rose says, why do cows always go for children? Because that's what it is. there's two things that they're the easiest, I guess, but also with the people like this, they want notoriety, so they're making decisions that make them more infamous. But to think that way is one thing, but to be able to act it out, clearly there's a disconnect in this individual's mind. Clearly.
You looked at numerous images of firearms documentation, details of guns for sale, and obtained the means to forge your own firearms certificate, into which you inserted a copy of the signature of a police officer. That summer, you obtained the manifestos of Anders Breivik, who killed 77 people in Norway in 2011, and Christopher Dorner, an ex-police officer who killed several people in California in 2013. As the date drew near, you even searched for the weather forecast for Friday the 13th of September. Having taken possession of the shotgun and cartridges on the 12th of September, you spent the rest of the day reading about the impact of shotgun injuries to the neck. This was the means by which you intended to kill yourself after the school shooting. Into the following morning, as usual, you were researching necrophilia. You researched Sarah Everard and your usual diet of mass shootings. From 4:11 a.m. for half an hour, you watched extreme animated pornography. At 4:40.
So he's really showing child stuff and animated stuff. So this is very quite alarming already.
The last images you looked at were of school massacres, including from the Columbine.
Does the mom not pick up anything? There's a question. Like when we're looking at the young individual in Wales, it was definitely like the behavioral pattern was off, and the parents knew it, but seemed to be ignoring it, or maybe scared. Some would say. The question is, what was the mother and even the siblings seeing throughout these 10, 18 years of him being existing?
High School in 1999. Between then and 5:33 a.m. when you left the tower block, neighbours heard a serious disturbance in your 8th floor flat. Later it was established that you were disturbed by your mother, who realised that something was terribly wrong, and her intervention forced you to act earlier than you had intended. From extrinsic evidence, such as the scenes of crime examination of the flat, the evidence of neighbours, the pathology, together with some of your own accounts, the sequence appears to be that when your mother realised you had a gun, she struggled with you before you shot her in the head at very close range in the hallway.
I apologize for the graphic nature, but the judge is just reading out what's happened. And it seems like the mother rumbled at him. Maybe she came by and realized he had a gun. And that, because the truth is, I don't necessarily know if I have to find out if his family was the intended target, as in they were included, or it was just a botched job, so they had to continue it. Well, I do wonder if he intended to harm his entire family.
You placed a novel with the title How to Kill Your Family on her legs.
So once again, so he's unfortunately he's murdered his own mother. It's unacceptable, and he's put a copy of a book saying How to Kill Your Family on top of it. So this is showing you that his mind, as warped as it might be, is still understanding what he's trying to do and that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's
Sister Giselle.
Big up K Black, big up Dominic, big up Melanie Goddess, big up Buddha Bing, and all everyone else who's in the house. We're looking at the Nicholas Prosper murder case to help parents take active roles in monitoring the behaviors of the children. We don't want to see a rise in these kinds of crimes. They're very heartbreaking, and innocent people die. And we want to believe they could be avoided. But with intervention early on.
Woke up. She put on her glasses, and you fired a shot at her from a distance which grazed the back of her head. The terrified girl ran to hide in the living room and tried to conceal herself. You pursued her and inflicted an immediately fatal contact shot to her right eye. Your brother also woke and tried to seek refuge in the kitchen and protect himself with a knife. It was an unequal contest. You shot him in the chest from a distance, but then, while he was still alive and moving, stabbed and slashed him more than 100 times.
So he's attacked his youngest brother, next brother down, and I think his brother tried to defend himself with a knife, and then he took a knife, and attacked him 100 times with that knife. I do wonder if we're saying that right, like 100 times. I don't know what he would have been doing 100 times, but that's a lot. But I don't think the brother was dead after that.
To his head, face, neck, torso and limbs, while he pleaded with you not to kill him. One of the wounds penetrated his lung, but they were intended to disarm him. When you had, he ran into the hallway, where you shot him dead with a close shot in the head. The first 999 call was logged at 5.
I believe he's using a shotgun, so this is a very shocking scene. If he's shooting his sister in the eye and his brother in the head, this must be a very shocking scene to go and see after that.
5:29 a.m. The police arrived at 5:50 a.m. and entry was forced by armed officers at 6:08 to find a scene of horror. As well as the 3 dead, there was blood staining throughout the flat, including handprints in blood, as well as aspirated and spattered blood. Several knives were found blood-stained, and at least one of them apparently bent out of shape. You had to have reloaded the double-barreled shotgun at least twice.
So yeah, I think with double-barrel shotguns, they're quite manually reloaded, and it takes time. So, but I think the family were hiding rather than attacking at once.
There is no evidence that you sexually assaulted any of your victims.
Well, the victims are his family, and the fact that she said that, but they've got evidence that he might have mentioned these kind of behaviors towards his sister or something like this. I don't want to quote me on it, but I think that might be where the judge is going.
Plainly, these murders were not intrinsic to carrying out a school shooting, but they were part of your plan. And the boy you idolized, Adam Lanza, shot his mother while she was in bed before driving her car to the Sandy Hook Elementary.
So that's in America. I can't show the picture because my thing's blocked, but yeah, a very airy, creepy looking young person from the States who went on and did mass murder in cinema. And he was trying to immolate that individual, or at least be recognized amongst the ranks of that kind of behaviors.
School. You spent the next 2 hours hiding from the police. At 6:22 a.m., you posted a pre-recorded video to Facebook in your shooting uniform, reading a script about the Walking Dead game. You said you intended to shoot your sister in the face. Police activity in the area was intense, and you realized it was far too early to go to any school. You emerged from the bushes at about 7:55 a.m. and raised your arm to a marked police car. You had blood on your hands, clothes, and glasses. You had reloaded the gun with 2 cartridges, and 33 other cartridges were recovered where you had left them, en route between the tower block and the school. You had disposed of 2 mobile phones which were recovered by the police. You later admitted you had joined a paedophile Twitter group to discuss sexual attraction to children, and
a PDF Twitter group. So that's not the dark web. That's actually the surface web where these things go on, and he's joined it because of his interest in young boys and girls.
the primary purpose in trying to destroy the phones was to protect your online friends from being arrested for child porn. Although you had abandoned the gun with the cartridges, you had a kitchen knife in your pocket. After arrest, you displayed no signs of agitation or mental distress. You were inappropriately cheerful and engaged the officers in conversation. You asked if the local schools were locked down. You made no comment in interview, but later gave a mental health nurse who was assessing you in custody some further details, including
the monitoring the violent intent of the children. We discussed the Nicholas Prosper murder case to help parents take active roles in monitoring the behavior of their children.
that you had planned for a year to kill 34 people, ending in your own suicide.
So he planned to kill more people, and then but he wanted to kill himself. That's something you see a lot of these guys do. They want to come cause havoc and then just leave when they want. Oh, sorry, it's not pause as well. Sorry about that.
30 of them were to be school children aged 4 or 5. The year before, a plan to rob a gun seller had failed, and so you took steps to acquire a firearm by deception. You had intended to carry the shooting out on the 12th of September, but the 13th sounded better.
So he wanted to do on the 12th, but he thought it was more significant than the 13th. I assume it's the whole Halloween, the horror kind of thing. But once again, he's trying to. The moral of the story is there's individual wants to be known and infamous, and that's what's motivated. And these are the signs you want to see if your kids have these kind of signs.
You took a knife with you when buying the shotgun in case it didn't go smoothly, and you were prepared to kill the seller.
So that's another thing. He just said he might have actually killed the seller if he didn't say it to him.
You hadn't hated your mother or siblings and had had a good life with them. Your intention had been to kill them in their sleep and rape your sister.
That's quite extreme. Sorry for the extreme nature of what we're saying, but they're saying he wanted to murder his sister as well as physically, sexually abuse her. And I'm assuming this once again very shocking stuff. I'm sorry to say, but it might have been in that order, as in he would probably want to sexually assault someone after they've passed. These are a collection of very extreme behavior patterns, and I do wonder if the parents picked up on any of this. That's all.
You had intended to leave the flat at around 8:30 and arrive at St. Joseph's School at 9 a.m. Go into a class and pretend to rob the teachers, then start shooting the 4-year-olds, continuing
So the age range would have been 4, which is diabolical.
in another classroom, if necessary, to achieve the target of 30 children. You wanted to cause the biggest massacre in the 21st century, as there had not been one. Your mother waking up at about 4:50 had triggered your activity earlier. You wished you had killed more. I am conscious that nothing I can do or say.
This is a real disconnect. Someone who really wants to kill people, you have to ask, how are they communicating at home? He killed his mother, but that was not I don't think the mother was the intended target, but then he wanted to have as much as possible, he says.
Can reflect the worth of Juliana, Kyle and Giselle's precious lives, or the depth of their shocking loss for their family and friends. Nevertheless, I want to express the court's sincere condolences. Raymond Prosper has described the desolation of his family as a loss that will never be healed. He considers himself to have lost 2 sons, Kyle and you. Juliana Falcon was hardworking. She cared for her children and tried to persuade you to get help when you were struggling at school. She was an innocent victim of an ungrateful, unfeeling son whose only wish was to be famous through destroying the lives of young children.
So obviously, you know, there's these extreme cases, but being famous was something he longed to be, and we can see parallels in like the youth where they're on they're on the kind of social media, and they're doing extreme things to get notoriety and stuff, popular likes and pages, views and stuff. But yeah, it's that kind of quest or goal to be known, and that's something we want to kind of teach humility and collective thinking and stuff, so people are not longing to really become like click merchants or famous for being famous.
Karl Prosper was 16 with his whole future ahead. He fought bravely for his life, but there was no contest with his older armed brother. Giselle was just 13 years old, a smiling girl, no doubt the treasure of her parents and friends. The sentence for murder is life imprisonment. The court ordinarily fixes a minimum term, every day of which must be served because there is no automatic release. A minimum term does not in any way equate to the value of the life of a murder victim, still less 3 such victims. After serving the minimum term, an offender can apply for release to the parole board. The board can only direct release if it is satisfied that imprisonment is no longer necessary for the protection of the public. If release, the second part of the sentence begins, which is supervision, subject to licence conditions restricting the offender's freedom and a lifelong ability to be recalled to prison. Possession of a firearm with intent to endanger life also carries a maximum of life imprisonment, although that sentence is not mandatory. I have received detailed submissions from the Crown and the Defence on the application of the framework in Schedule 21 of the Sentencing Act 2020 for assessing life sentences. They have referred me to a number of cases where the statutory scheme has been considered, including Stewart and others, Davies, Connor Chapman, Jones and others, Mark and Edwards, and Kamara Jara. At the court's request, they provided further written submissions shortly before the hearing about the application of the recent amendment to the framework, which, by section 321 of the Act, extends the availability of a whole life order to murderers aged 18, 19 or 20. Plainly, given the nature of the overall offending in this case, the court has to consider whether this is one of the rare occasions when that provision is satisfied. I have considered all the authorities and all the written and oral submissions carefully. I bear in mind that in the case of an adult aged 21, the murder of 2 or more people where each killing involved a substantial degree of premeditation or planning, or where a single child, a person under 18, was murdered with a substantial degree of premeditation or planning, a whole life order would be the normal starting point. This is obviously such a case. However, Section 321(3)(c)
So we skip some of
provides
this.
that the court may arrive at a
So
whole life order
the judge is talking about sentencing and what techniques they should
in the
use.
case of an fraudulently acquired and illegally held firearm was to be taken to a school to endanger the lives and kill dozens of young children. A murder spree with the sole aim of glorifying the name of the perpetrator in the history of mass killers is what you intended. I have in mind the definitive guideline which assists judges dealing with offenders with mental or developmental disorders and neurological impairments. guideline makes it clear that while any disorder or personality trait present should be considered, it will not necessarily have any impact on the sentence. Culpability.
So yeah, they're sentencing. This is the whole thing. So I'm not going to play it. It's quite long. Half an hour. Let's see what to the last one.
And in person demonstrated a clear understanding of how to reassure a much.
Right, we'll end it there, I guess. But yeah, this is very shocking. So they sentenced him, I think, to 49 years. I think 49 years. You know what? I can't even have the thing, can I? I can't even have the. Let me see if I get rid of this. Remove and share. Present. Share screen. Let's hope this works this time better. Oh, it does. Yeah. So yeah, what did you say? It's long because all the planning and nonsense he was doing. Yeah, yeah. And the thing is, it's also they can't guarantee this guy will never not be a threat. As in, he's shown no remorse. He's premeditated. He's adaptive, and he was stopped at nothing. So yes, the question is, are parents active in the roles of monitoring the behavior of their children to see what is creating, these processes, or when they start, reacting quickly, getting people involved to help. But yeah, it's a very shocking case, really, and it's very sad that his family lost their lives. It'd be interesting if how the brother and sister reacted to him. Like, would it have been a shock to them, or would they have been expecting it? Or was there any history of outbreaks before fights? Like did it, that's another thing. Like, did they ever fight? Like, punch ups and headlocks and stuff, or is it he was so isolated that they just never spoke to him? How old is he? He was 18 when he did the crime. He's now 19, and I think a minimum. I think 40 years. 40 years is not enough for free. Well, it's interesting out here in England, like how certain people get charged and how, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. I don't. They're saying that I don't think they'll let him out, but then things can change. But I don't think they'll let him out. I think the intention is to keep him in. But obviously, until you're there in time, you can't see it. But definitely standoffish. Very, the list of things he was doing. You're looking at young, underage, underage material of abuse of underage children, and those must be quite mild to extreme in the sense of like either maybe just pictures all the way to clear criminal stuff. Very shocking. What else? He was in. They're saying he was into necrophilia, which is, I think I'm right in saying it's people who want to. They have intimate intimate with dead bodies. I think that's what I'm gonna say. That's what that is. So once again, these are two extremes. He's on the dark web looking up this kind of stuff. Yeah. But then he's clear. He immolated a and I can't show it. Let me try. I wonder if I can present. Probably can't. Present. Stop image. Stop share. Present. Let's see if I can present a window. So what? Oh, it worked. So this is the guy. This is the guy he wanted to compete with, honor. Very yeah. I can't. I can't remember. I want to say maybe I've seen him before as a meme or something. Maybe. Oh, sorry about that. And I was going to show you his. I mean, but I don't think his dad wants to be shown. Some say his name is Saint Lucian, but we don't know. So this is the person he wanted to idolize and motivate him. I'm just thinking, where is? Did I get rid of the other stuff? I probably did. That's rubbish. All right, cool. So that's the guy. Show for really remove, add. Oh, so yeah. I'll stop sharing that. Really, yeah. Yeah, guys, I'm getting quite. It is quite shocking stuff. Was there black kids at this school? Well, it's based in Luton. Now, Luton is slightly outside London. I see a train. I when I used to work, I remember a train that goes. So, yeah, and the thing is, I remember speaking to people in Luton who were black. I don't know the nature of the school. Um, I don't know if it was a diverse school. But a nursery, whatever. But I do know he intended to massacre young children, and this is connected to the same behavior of just being disconnected and ruthless, especially towards his parents. And this is I do wonder this ruthlessness wouldn't be overnight. It'd be something that they've noticed. How they reacted at first, and if they tried to get him help, I don't know. But yeah. So we're saying monitoring the violent intent of your children. We discussed the Nicholas Prosper murder. We discussed the Nicholas Prosper murder case to help parents take active roles in monitoring the behaviors of their children. So yeah, this is now two kind of. Well, there's a few more obviously in the UK. There was that guy at the Bow and Arrow and some other guys, but when it comes to people of African descent, as a community, you always want to make sure that you, we make sure that we can stomp out this kind of behavior and get it out, or just try to reform it. But then with mental, we don't know if mental illness takes a toll, then that's something else altogether. But I wouldn't be the one blaming mental illness for these kind of like behaviors now, because they're very calculated, very well thought out, very adaptive, and it's from a young guy. So he knew who he had to be to get what he wanted. It looks like. But yeah, so family. So I do apologize for the shocking nature of that topic. And the link is, if anyone wants to talk about it, feel free to jump in. I am been working quite hard this week, so I am a bit finished. But obviously, I will stay on if you guys want to talk, by all means. If there's any questions or anything you want to ask, but where is it? Share screen. I need to get used to this. I need to. Oh no, that's why is it that if I'm because you have to find the actual PDF. Oh rubbish. Yeah. Share screen. No. Sorry, family. Design. No, it is share screen because it's a PDF. Yeah. Yeah. So, family, I don't know if there's anyone wants to jump in or any questions you want to ask. And I'm sorry if it was it is very shocking content, but it is connected to a bigger potential issue, and that is, are you monitoring your children? You know, like I've done a few work where I've dealt with victims of attacks, and I've been to court cases where the parents apologized to the other parents that their kid tried to kill their kid, did kill their kid, and the question is, were you monitoring them? Did you really check up on them, check out their music grades and all that, and who they're hanging with, just to make sure that people just don't go wrong. But family, I am literally dozing off, so It's normally we go for an hour, and if someone jumps in, we go to 2 hours. That's someone asked me. I remember people have mentioned to me on to watch Adolescents starring with what's the brother's name from So So. Asher, I know it's Asher D, but he's probably got a different acting name. But has anyone? Yeah, apparently it's good, but I haven't seen somewhat good. I haven't seen it. Oh, you know what? Yes, yeah, I remember hearing that as well. I will watch it. I'll get it. I'll watch it. We'll do that. The family, you guys have been fantastic. Uh, what is that down there? Sorry. Um, I'm gonna go because I'm literally dozing off, and I hope I haven't been snoring around. But don't forget to tune next time. Next week, I might cover. But because if we get some guests and whatever. But generally, don't forget, family, this is ours time, your show. So anything you want to say, we can answer it. If you guys want to do an intro, you can. And obviously now these times you can talk. Um, I was going to say we can talk. I'm just drifting off now. Anyway, let us know. It's your show. I'm gonna go. Wablo. See you guys. Have a Black Batman to all Black Batman. Till next week. So it's a bit of a short one this week, but it was quite shocking show, fun topic. So that's what it is. Well, big up. Let me give you the big ups. Big up Dominic, Melee, Goddess, Kane Black, Dominic, Buddha Bing, and Sister She Reigns. Big up everyone who's in the house. Check you next week, Black Batman. See ya. And free.